confidence is concerned, I believe that I have presented the best case. If we are to go by that, then definitely I'm optimistic that at the end of the day people are going to elect me.
Banjul fi team taxawal Banjul nañ fi joxe 3 notes su ñetti candidat yi ñu tànn ñepp dinañ duga Banjul jëm kanam.
That was the feeling before the election, and it remained. The movement Team Tahawal Banjul had finally won the election out of 13 other candidates that contested the seat in the capital. The post-election mood in Banjul is one of relaxation. After months of struggle from nomination to campaign, all came to an end. It was the same situation in the house of Mohammed now, newly elected Nam for Banjul Central. It was a happy moment for him and his team, but promised to live up to expectation.
They have taken the right decision and they will never regret doing it. I will strive to work hard in the spirit of serving effectively and efficiently towards the supreme interests of Banjul Central.
While many were out in the streets, Mohammed took time to exchange pleasantries with well-wishers, most of whom encouraged him to stand for the interests of the people that elected him. Team Tahawal Banjul is a movement that constituted 3 candidates from the different constituencies. Usman Sila, like Mohammed now, is the elected Nam for Banjul North. He was found in a happy mood with families. For him, it is a moment to give thanks to God and to the people for the trust they have in him, but acknowledge that the task ahead is more important.
It's a heavy burden that is placed on my shoulders now. They have given me a responsibility to serve them. So it is not a mean task, it's a heavy responsibility, but I believe that with my conviction and my commitment, the dedication, is something that I can shoulder, I can deliver, yes. And I will do my level's best. I will endeavor to deliver to the expectation of the elected and the Gambians in general.
He was the UDP candidate for Banjul South, but Mane lost the seat to Tumanjai PPP under the Team Tahawal Banjul movement. It is God's decision, he said, but that will not stop him from working hand in gloves in ensuring the needs and aspirations of Banjulians are realized.
I accept it with good faith, because it is God who that decides, you understand? You know, we are all Gambians. If he needs any help from me, I'll do it. You know, because what I see is my country and my constituency, Banjul.
These 3 people that have won, they've got the experience. They've got the love for Banjul. As I always say, they are Banjulians by nature. So what we're saying to them is, you remember you've been voted in. And please remember what we've cried for. See what our needs are. Especially we don't talk about personal things to do for any Gambian or any Banjulian. But what we are saying is, look at what is good for Gambia. There are laws, there are articles that we have in there that we need to change if we really want to make sure that we are in line and at par with what the world is saying and what Gambians want.
They have crossed one hurdle, for they have been selected and are now ready to go to the House. But one thing remains, representing their constituencies to the best of interest. For GRTS News, I am Aissatou Keita.
The United Democratic Party is now holding the biggest majority in the National Assembly with 31 seats. The party won all but 1 seat in the Kanifing municipal area. The party leadership said the United Democratic Party will lead the National Assembly through a period of reconciliation. Famara Kanyi has more.
A historic moment for the supporters of the United Democratic Party. This is the biggest victory for the party since its formation in 1996. After spending life in opposition under the then ruling APRC government, the now largest single party in parliament swept the polls in what was a night of success for the party and its supporters. Fatoumata Jawara is one of the new National Assembly members under the banner of the United Democratic Party. Mrs. Jawara's story is quite remarkable. A year ago, she had to contend with life in detention after she was arrested together with some senior members of the party during a protest demanding electoral reforms. For some of the new names, focus is firmly set on plans and programs for the electorate who voted them into office.
I am very happy today to win the election, and really I will represent my people.
We will also make sure that we work in hand with our colleagues, being UDP, being other parties, work in hand to make sure that we have something in place for the Gambian people. News of UDP's dominance of the political landscape, especially in the Kanifing municipality, was welcomed by party leader Ousainou Darboe. He described it as a turning point in Gambia's political arena.
I am the leader and secretary general of the party, and I want to say that I'm happy that young people are coming up, in the hierarchy of the party. When all the National Assembly members, maybe except for one or two, all of them are very young people, and we expect to relinquish the mantle of leadership to these young people.
Mr. Darboe invited all Gambians to the path of reconciliation and national development and reaffirmed his party's commitment to representing the voices of all Gambians in Parliament. One of the seats that was lost went to People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism. Halifa Sallah, a former parliamentarian of Serekunda Central, will return to the Assembly chambers after a comfortable win over his challengers.
We are going to be the pioneers of what serves the national interest and convince the 31 UDP members that what is in the national interest should be supported by them if they also do not do the same. But I believe that is our intention, and that is our intention to put the national interest before the interest of partisan persons.
Results from the polls nationwide indicated a comfortable night for the UDP, but with several other parties winning seats, the National Assembly is set for a new life in a new Gambia, marked by a refreshing democratic dispensation. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Famarakai.
The winner of the Janjangbureh seat has called for unity and reconciliation. Mamadou Cissé was speaking to GRTS Modou Badiane shortly after he was announced winner of the Janjangbureh constituency.
After the struggle by 58 candidates for Central River Region's 11 constituencies, Independent Electoral Commission results revealed that 2 seats are won by Gambia Democratic Party GDC, followed by National Reconciliation Party NRP with 4 parliamentarians. Meanwhile, 5 constituencies including Janjangbureh are won by United Democratic Party UDP. Mamadou Cissé is the first ever UDP candidate to make such headway.
It was not much surprising, because from day one I had known that I was going to win, because I think I said this over and over that I was never interested in politics, but I have dynamic youth behind me that came for me to contest as the parliamentarian, and they fought tooth and nail to ensure that I win, and that I won yesterday.
Candidates including Omar Jame of NRP and former Janjangbureh parliamentarian Ibrahim Sajo of Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction APRC also spoke to GRTS following their loss.
In every competition, if you are in a race, you always have the zeal that you shall be the winner. But notwithstanding, I still take everything in good faith as a young politician or as a young person.
Nothing is desirable without Allah. So one has to be faithful. Whatever happens, you know that it's not from anybody, but Allah decides over things. I didn't feel bad about the elections or what happened. The first thing that I thought about is my supporters. How secured are they going to be? That's the first thing I thought of. And that's the concern I have as of now.
All these candidates have a common message to their supporters in urging them to peacefully coexist and work hand in glove for the betterment of Janjangbureh and the nation at large.
My message has been always clear. That is to my supporters. And I think I have to use this opportunity to thank them all for rallying behind me during this struggle. And then I have no doubt that we shall always work together in making sure that the development of this community will be something key that we will be all looking at. And again, as I would always advise them, is like let's try to maintain that peace within ourselves.
I can 100% assure you that there has never been any harassment here. If there is any harassment, it came from the other party. I would never lead a group of people who would create problem. Never.
Because what I told them yesterday was Janjangbureh is one family. I have relatives in every compound in this island. So I would never lead a group that would create problems for this island.
Modu Bajan, GRTS.
Newly elected members in the North Bank region have vowed to champion national reconciliation. Speaking to judges amid wild celebrations in their homes, the new lawmakers promise to reunite their people and promote social harmony. Abdullah C. picks up the rest of that story.
The dust has settled. The winners have been declared, but this came after polls closed and votes were counted. Now that the winners have been declared, celebrations in Jokad, where the GDC candidate was declared winner, never disappointed. It could have been disappointing turnout in this year's National Assembly, but the celebrations, the pomp and pageantry in Gambian politics never disappoint. This is the richness of Gambian politics. It is a task of every Gambian to make sure they come out and cast their ballots. This is a civic responsibility that has been advocated by everyone, and the winning candidates in this year's National Assembly have played to make sure in the 5 years they are going to serve in the National Assembly, they take it as a principal task to make sure they orient their people in their various constituencies to participate in politics, vote and seek a public office.
It will be on my agendas to tell them it is their right, they have to vote because they are the one who should choose their people who should represent them. So when it is time for election, they should come out and then vote and voice out their wishes, because they are the one who should choose people.
All here in the North Bank region, 7 constituencies, UDP winning 5 constituencies, GDC taking away 1, and NRP taking the remaining 1, which is Sabah Senjal, GDC for Jokadu, UDP for Lower Nyomi, Upper Nyomi, Lower Badibu, Central Badibu and Eliasa. That is for this year's National Assembly elections. But the campaign was tough, and of course every voter has a political affiliation. Notwithstanding, every voter is from the same political setup, the same social setup. Now time for reconciliation, and winning candidates, especially Usman Toure of Sabah Senjal, has taken it a task to make sure he brings his people together and reconcile for the development of his own constituency and the nation at large.
My first priority is reconciliation, because I understand there are a lot of differences between the people, and most of these differences are political differences.
The political dust has effectively settled here in the North Bank region. Now time for reconciliation, time to move ahead. Candidates have made a series of promises. Each has pledged to keep their promises. Now voters have given them their mandate and have taken up the task to make sure they are scrutinized in the 5 years they are going to serve in the National Assembly. Until then, we will keep watch and see what happens in our country's parliament. Abdullah C. GRTS, Farafenya.
Elsewhere in the West Coast region, in Oljundum, Busumbala and Sani Mentoring constituencies, voters and candidates both in the winning and losing camps are looking ahead to building a Gambia fit for all. Asuma Jadamarada visited that part of the region, and he reports on the post-election mood there.
In all the winning camps we visited, we were welcomed by jubilant supporters who were singing, drumming and dancing. The first port of call was the newly elected National Assembly member for Oljundum constituency under the UDP ticket, Honorable Abdullah Sise. Honorable Sise, who contested against 7 other candidates in the area, commended electorate's family and party members for bestowing trust and confidence in him.
One thing I am going to assure them is I am going to represent them effectively, because voting in a parliamentary candidate to go in the House is not only to realize the development in your community, but also somebody who is going to represent you effectively in the House.
He promised to execute his parliamentary functions as enshrined in the Constitution and other laws of the Gambia. Dam Toure has also contested in the parliamentary election under the NRP ticket. Toure said the outcome of the election will serve as a good learning point for him to prepare himself for future National Assembly election. Honorable Sekuba Jaju, the newly UDP's elected candidate for the Busumbala constituency, pointed out that he is going to judiciously contribute in the scrutinization of government policies and laws that will reflect the development needs and aspirations of Gambians.
What I always tell my people, Gambia, there is no mineral, no oil, no nothing. The only natural resources we have is peace. Gambia, let's gather here today dancing because there is peace.
Jaju congratulated his supporters and family for the loyalty, while he acknowledged his readiness to be upright as a servant of people in the highest decision-making chambers of the nation. A veteran civil rights activist who is now the newly elected National Assembly member for Combo South constituency under the UDP ticket Kebake Barrow, said one of his first assignments in the National Assembly will be the revisiting of the area's sand mining policies from the Geology Department in order to see ways of including real socio-corporate responsibilities earmarked for the advancement of the area.
The natural resources that you have talked about has been high on the agenda during my campaign trail, and some of the key things that I want to see, focusing on laws that we will look at, revisit again in terms of resources that have been depleted in this constituency for the last 22 years. There are laws that are put in place and there are contracts that have been given out without giving proper due cost to the people of the communities, and people have not benefited in this.
Barrow highlighted that he is going to collaborate with development partners to help address the horticultural challenges of women gardeners, with the view to improve their household income and as well as accelerate the nutritional status of children. Ismaila Barrow, a voter in Combo South, enjoined parliamentarians to encourage the spirit of regular consultations and dialogue with their people in order to make informed decisions in the Assembly. The defeated APRC candidate in the Combo South, Abdul Koli, hailed the IEC and other stakeholders for coordinating what he described as one of the most free, fair and credible elections in the country.
I would like to have the opportunity to sit with the elected National Assembly member so that we can discuss some of the issues, some of the pending activities which I have started, so that he can continue rolling the ball. Because at the end of the day, it's the people of Combo South that we are all serving. I mean, there's no one way to the market.
Honorable Baba Galle Jallo, the newly elected National Assembly member for Parliamentary, under the UDP banner, called for concerted efforts in the development of the area. Jallo promised to collaborate with his colleagues in the parliament to change all the draconian laws made by the former regime. He also enjoined his people to put aside their political differences and work towards a common goal. Suma W. Jadama reporting for GRTS.
In the Lower River region, supporters of winning candidates have been celebrating the election of their candidates to the National Assembly. Our reporter Umjai was in Mansakonko and she filed in this report.
It was excitement across the Lower River region after the official announcement of the much-awaited results of the new parliamentarians who are vying for the 6 seats in the region. The people of Kiang and Jara gather at the respective homes of the winners to celebrate the victory that their representatives brought home. Kajali Fofana of the United Democratic Party is the winner of the parliamentary seat for Jara West. At his Sankuya home, Kajali expressed joy over his victory.
I would like to thank them all for the hard work they have been doing during the campaign, because the campaign was so difficult. Relating to the geographical location of my constituency, people are living very far away from each another. So it takes them a lot of trouble to go around the constituency and campaign for each and every day of the campaign period. In that vein, I thank them all for their campaign and their welcoming and all what they have been doing during the campaign.
Kewa Jallo of the Gambia Democratic Congress won the seat for Jara Central, while Saini Toure of the United Democratic Party won the Jara East seat. With a great joy, they returned gratitude to the electorate.
I thank all the electorate of Jara Central, those who vote me and those who did not vote me in. I thank everybody.
And I also want to thank people of Jara East for having supported me from the word go. They have been with me, and this also goes to the women folk. They have been very supportive. Just like the saying goes, behind any strong man there is a woman. So I'm very grateful to the women for throwing their weight behind me.
Yaya Gassama, UDP candidate, won the Kiang East seat, while Bakari Kamara, UDP, won the Kiang Central seat, and Fakeba Enel Koli for the Kiang Central constituency. The newly elected National Assembly members took turn to outline their development plans.
When work begins, right after inauguration, I will set myself to task. Well, I know that as far as development is concerned, this constituency is the least developed constituency in the entire Gambia. Electricity is very, very important when it comes to development, and I want to focus on this area first.
Kiang Central, we have the off-the-road settlement, the Kabada, and where they have problems in terms of getting the road. And you go there, these people are animal owners. They complain about water for their animals. So these are some of the areas that I will concentrate on. Vegetable growers are there. They find it difficult to have market for their produce. They need milling machines, and then lot of things.
The people of the Lower River region are optimistic of positive change with the election of the new breed of parliamentarians in whom they have now bestowed trust. Ominjai, GRPS.
Join us at 10 p.m. for more news on the post-election celebrations in other parts of the country, including a not-too-pleasant experience for one of our reporters who was in Fonyi Kansala to report on a story in that area. Meanwhile, ECOWAS election observer team Friday afternoon briefed journalists and other stakeholders in the conduct of the Thursday's National Assembly elections. As Louis Mendy reports, the team led by Dr. Afari Jan said the election was conducted in a free and fair manner.
Election observers have praised the way and manner in which the Thursday parliamentary election has been conducted.
The presence in sufficient quantities of electoral materials throughout polling stations across the country. The visible presence of security agents, about 2 police personnel per polling station. The smooth and professional conduct of the polling officials who demonstrated adequate mastery of their duties. Also noted that there was adequate representation of women among the polling officials and party agents.
The team of 20 observers, led by Dr. Afari Jan, said they were also pleased with the presence of agents of political parties and independent candidates in all the polling stations they had visited in the Greater Banjul area.
The presence of agents of political parties and independent candidates. The use of indelible ink to indicate that voters have cast their ballot. All voters were required to present a voter's card in order to vote. We also noted that the elderly, nursing mothers, and voters with special needs were given priority and afforded the necessary assistance to cast their ballots. The polling stations were set up to ensure ballot secrecy. We also noted the presence of other international observer groups, including the AU, the EU, Humanitarian Dialogue, the United States Embassy, and some local observers, namely the Civil Society Organization Coalition and the Peace Ambassadors of the Gambia.
Only one aspect of the election process did not please the ECOWAS election observers.
The mission, however, observed a relatively lower turnout of voters compared to the 1st December 2016 presidential election. In light of the low voter turnout observed in the field, the ECOWAS Election Observation Mission recommends that ahead of future elections, the Independent Electoral Commission and political parties should put more efforts to educate and sensitize the citizens on the importance of active participation in all national elections.
The ECOWAS observers' assessment of the Thursday parliamentary election was witnessed by journalists and the European Union officials. The United